PvP patch notes. Okay, let's have a look at this. So this mod is a complete rework of all PvP elements, with the goal of allowing many element choices for the player rather than a single OP meta setup stuff. I mean, for me, Toby one was probably like the most on the ball PvP in the DU server. So for him working on this stuff, I've got faith. But let's see what we're going with. For detailed stats, visit the Rebalance 1.0 tab. We'll come back to that. General changes. Global DPS has been increased by almost double compared to 1.4. 1.4 was the last major patch in DU. This will lead to quicker time to kill. Good on most opponents. That's good. Because honestly, spending a long time trying to kill shit is boring as hell. But then you don't want it too quick. But the reduced weapon ranges will make it harder to get in range and stay on target. Yeah, so you're adding more onus on piloting skill into the equation. In addition, voxel effective health point density has been increased. EHP stands for effective health points. Density has been increased, and all PvP relevant elements have been given generous HP pools. So you've got more damage, but you've got more health on the voxels, and elements have a bit more health as well. This means ships won't get disabled as soon as their shields go down, which is good. The DPS and range differences between smaller and larger weapons has been reduced. Right. I was just about to... So the sentence comes next, allowing smaller ships to be more competitive against larger ships than they were in 1.4. That's interesting. So L cores here, anyway, may not be the way to go. But let's read on. Universal health point increases to all PvP related elements. Honeycomb now has increased resistance, giving them 50% increased effective health points. Voxel is now tougher and deformed less when hit, but CCS amounts have remained the same. So CCS is basically, I can't remember exactly, something's core stress. So it's how much stress damage can a core take. So that even though you might have voxel remaining, if you run out of CCS, your core will explode. So think of it like, it's like the core is a nervous system, and if it gets, and even though your ship's like getting hit, and there's still bits left on it and everything, once you get past a certain threshold, it just goes bleh, and your ship explodes, and you're dead. Honeycomb HP values have been adjusted in such a way as to give better health point to mass value for lighter voxels. So Honeycomb HP values have been adjusted in a way as to give better health point to mass value for lighter voxels. So lighter voxels, I think, are a bit more beefier in terms of how much health they provide. So in vanilla, carbon fiber, plastic were like literally paper. So I wonder if that's applicable to them, or whether it's referring to like the likes of sodium and lithium, which are also very light. All weapon sizes and types can now fit only 2 weapon elements per seat. This has many effects. It reduces the overall rates of fire to reduce server burden. Okay, I understand that. That's a pretty good reason to do this. It reduces the chance that element weapons will be hit due to reduced overall weapon cross-section. Yeah, so you've not got like 50, 6 cannons right in front of you, so your weapons aren't always going to be getting hammered all the time. It makes ships less ugly since you don't have to spend weapons all over them. True. And it simplifies ship design. In addition, you now need much less investment into weapon and seat capacity talents to be able to fix the max number of weapons. Weapons are now heavier, especially L weapons. No more super light L cores. Okay. Weapon types. Cannons are now short-range burst damage weapons. In the past, cannons required you to be in range constantly to achieve full DPS. Now you only have to be in range about half the time. Lasers are short. Yeah, so cannons you're like kind of popping in and out. And when you're in the sights, you're unleashing hell on them. But you're not going to stay there that often because they have such short range, I'm guessing. Lasers are short to medium range with solid sustained DPS. Their damage curve allows them to find a position of advantage against any other weapon type. Their lightweight allows the ship carrying them to be more easily achieve this positional advantage. Railguns are now medium to long range burst DPS. They fire a single powerful shot before having to reload. They have good alpha strike potential, but mediocre sustained DPS. Yep. They also have a very narrow aim cone, so you must face the target directly to shoot. Yep. Okay, missiles are now the longest range weapon, lowest DPS. They're lightweight and 180 degree cone aim allows them to shoot backwards and kite enemies. Excellent. I like that. I like that a lot. I think I've already committed to cannons on here. But I think I don't know whether lasers might be a bit more forgiving. From reading that. Weapon variants. Heavy weapons have greatly increased damage, but are penalised with reduced range. Okay. Agile weapons have reduced... I think we'll probably have to look at the stats on some of these, but agile weapons have reduced mass, allowing more acceleration, higher rate of fire, and quicker reloads, but are penalised with reduced HP and reduced damage. This all combines to give them slightly higher DPS overall. Yeah. That's interesting. The reduced mass. I like that. I really do like that. Defensive weapons, because you can build like... the fact that your weapons can be, you can also select a type of weapon that is lighter. It's pretty cool. Defensive weapons have increased tracking and cone, greatly increased health point, but are penalised with reduced rate of fire and reload speed, and with increased weapon mass. So they're heavier but more but easier to hit with. Precision weapons have increased range with reduced tracking and aim cone, making them suffer in close range fights. Right, so it feels like, at least initially, that you've got to put a bit of thought into which weapon choice. I mean, you did that anyway on vanilla, but I think from reading this, you can probably go a bit more in. Your ships are more specialized, is what I'm reading. There isn't, and that's what's coming through from these changes, and that's what he put at the top of the sort of the introduction. He said that there's going to be multiple ways. There's not just going to be one meta, so you can have different types of ships, and it'll be more about the situation and the context of the engagement as to whether that ship's better than the ship that you're going up against. So I love that. Engine variants. Military engines retain their old role of big power, poor fuel efficiency, but their fuel efficiency has improved a bit. They're a good choice for short fights. Freight engines still have a long warm-up time, but no longer have reduced mass. Instead, they have increased mass, but also bonuses to power. Yeah, quite a lot of bonus to power actually as well, from looking at those stats that we saw on the Discord. They also have even better fuel efficiency than before. They use very little fuel now and can run on a single tank for hours, if not days. Yeah, I mean, it was next to nothing for fuel, right? They're the best choice for very long fights. Maneuver engines have now reduced mass and very quick warm-ups. They allow a ship to throttle down to save fuel during fights, but also quickly warm back up again if they need power. Their quick warm-up and lightweight make them good for kiting. Maneuver engines also have reduced health point resistance. They're fragile. Yeah. Safe engines now have a small bonus to all stats. They're the jack of all trades, master of none. However, they do also have greatly increased health points. Your ship will probably get cored before safe engines get destroyed. Yep. That's interesting. So, rockets have been reworked. They now have greatly increased thrust, allowing them to be used like afterburners for brief bursts of big acceleration. To compensate, rocket engines now have more mass than before, so once they run out of fuel, they're a liability, leaving you with slightly less acceleration than you would have on your ship. Okay, onto shields. Shields of all sizes have been reworked. Notably, S and XS shields are now much more viable. Cool. Yeah, they were a joke, basically. I remember it used to melt any ship that came. They used to have these two-engine rail boats with S shields on them that people used to like to fly, and I used to love fighting them because you just had to get near them for a very short amount of time, and they would just melt. Because they had the S shield, and they had the S shield on them for weight purposes. It was when you basically when top speed meant everything. So the idea behind them ships were that you would be at top speed and nothing would catch you. And some in small engagements that would work, but in like larger engagements, you could find yourself getting on top of those people and just really giving them a hard time. But interesting that the S and XS shields are more viable now. In general, smaller shields trade health point buffer for increased health point regeneration rates and quicker venting timings, allowing them to make quick, risky vents to get back some health point while the enemy is out of range or missing due to tracking. Smaller shields also have quicker resistance change cooldowns. L shields now have 14.4 million health point, but are now heavier at 350 tons. This change forces ships that use L shields to be slower. Large shields have long vents and long vent cooldowns, but they have the biggest health point pool. M shields now have 8.8 million health point, but also have moderately increased mass at 75 tons. They have moderate timings, buffer, and regenerates, a versatile shield. S shields have 5.28 million health points. Wow, so that's pretty good. I think that's what an M shield had on vanilla, from memory. Although I'm remembering something from over a year ago there, so possibly not. But it's a lot more than they had. They have quick venting times and cooldowns. XS shields have the smallest buffer at 3.2 mil health points, but are very light. 1.5 tons and lightning fast vents and cooldowns. This allows the XS fighter to find brief windows to execute quick 7.5 second vent and get some health point back up while the enemy is reloading or out of range. They also have the best sustained health point regeneration, but to achieve their full potential you must vent every time the cooldown is up. Yeah. Man, there's so many options. I'm thinking an S core here. I think like at least to get out the bat, out the gate with. So capacitor shields. Sorry, I want to shield variants now. Capacitor shields haven't changed much. They have greatly increased health point pools and are penalised with slower vents and longer vent cooldowns, so they have the overall less sustained health point regen. Capacitor shields are the toughest to bring down, but once they're down, they have a very hard time filling their health point pool. Yep. Variable shields have increased resistance pool, reduced mass, and quicker resistance settings cooldowns. They're a versatile shield that rewards smart resistance settings. Yep. So that if you're micromanaging your shield resistances in a fight, then that's probably, and you're okay doing that, then that could be the shield to go for. Active shields have quick events and short event cooldowns, giving the best sustained health point regeneration. This is what I go for active at the moment because I'm lazy, but are penalised with reduced health point pool, reduced resistances, longer resistance settings cooldown, increased mass. Active shields are the easiest to break, but their regen rates have the potential to exceed incoming DPS if properly used. Sorry, I think it was capacitor that I used to use because I was lazy. Okay, ammo variants. Heavy ammo increased, but is penalised with a reduction in range. Precision ammo is Precision ammo increases range, but is penalised with a reduction in tracking. Agile ammo increases tracking and has reduced mass compared to other ammo types. Defensive ammo increases cone and also has reduced volume, allowing you to pack more shots into your weapon magazines and ammo boxes. Okay, I think they just make some more. I think they're just aligning to what they should do based on their name there. Radar variants. Phaser radars still have the best range, but have even longer identification times and reduced HP now, which will hopefully encourage players to use other variants. Yeah, it's always phased array. Protective radars have more HP, better resistances, and reduced mass. Quick-wire radars even have even quicker identification times than before and still have reduced range. No, I feel radars still need some work. The changes that I've made will do for now. All radars are significantly tougher than they used to be. They're much less likely to be destroyed when placed on the surface of a ship rather than buried in voxel. That's good, because I was having fucking trouble getting buried in voxel, I seem to recall. Excellent. Okay. So I'm excited by that. I'm genuinely like, fucking, let's go. Let's go, Island. Let's get people on here.